Okay, so we're looking at the Edexcel practice paper E, which is going to be the applied content of year 1 of A-level maths. And I'm going to focus on the statistics questions involved. You can use this as a walking talking mock, meaning you should be completing these questions along with watching the video. Obviously, maths is never a spectator sport. You cannot passively watch somebody else do the maths and feel that you will be improving from doing that. You must do the maths yourself. So let's get going. All right, opening up with a definition question, explain what is meant by a census. And a census is a way to collect information. There's usually two alternatives, either a sample or a census. The main difference being a census is going to gather data from every member of the population, whereas in a sample we would have collected data or observations from just a few members of the population by various different methods. Part B, write down 2 disadvantages of using a census rather than a sample. Okay, so what are our main differences when we're using a census? A census is going to be a much larger operation than a sample, mainly because we're using every member of the population. So it is going to be more time consuming. It is going to be more expensive. It is going to be more cumbersome. There's so much more data to deal with in comparison to a sample. One thing that definitely sticks out and you should be aware of is a census would not be sensible to use if we were testing items to destruction. If we were testing how spongy a cupcake was, so the quality and the taste control test for a cupcake. If we were to do a census, that means we would have to take a bite of every cupcake, meaning there will be actually none left to sell. If we wanted to do a stress test on an iPhone, which they do at Apple, they will see how much force is needed to snap the iPhone in half. We wouldn't be able to do a census for that. That wouldn't be sensible because every iPhone they produce would then be snapped in half. And it's not a Kit Kat. We want the iPhone to be intact. Okay, so we will ask for 2 disadvantages, but I've written down all the ones that I can currently think of. Firstly, it can be costly. Secondly, it can be time consuming. Third, it's the issue of testing to destruction. And fourth, it can be quite cumbersome and difficult to manage and to analyze all of the data. Moving on. Each circuit board produced at GC Electronics is given a unique serial number. GC Electronics produces a circuit board in batches of 5,000. Before selling each batch, the company tests a random sample of 20 circuit boards from the batch to check that they will fit into a standard computer slot. Suggest a suitable sampling frame from which to obtain the sample. Okay, so a sampling frame is a list of all of the members of the population. So a sampling frame is a list of the sampling units. In this case, let's identify the sampling units. The sampling units are individual circuit boards. So a list of all the individual circuit boards or a list of the unique serial numbers of all the individual circuit boards. And for part D, we've been asked to identify the sampling units. Well, I did actually mention it in the previous part of the question, but just to be specific in responding to the examiner's question, once again, the sampling units are the individual circuit boards.